Chief Justice, Deputy Chief Justice, your leadership, my lords, judges of the Supreme Court, I think there is one matter, Chief Justice, there is one issue that was raised by my colleague, Professor Githu Muigai, regarding the correct team of lawyers legitimately representing the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission. This honorable court is aware that there is an application which was filed, I believe, fairly late last night and was responded to on that very issue. And I think in order to save time, I would suggest that perhaps the court considers that issue and gives directions in a ruling. My colleague, Professor Githu Muigai, and my good friend, Karoli Kamau, have filed a set of pleadings on behalf of the Commission. Issa Mansour has filed a set of pleadings on behalf of the Commission. As far as I am concerned with Issa, as I indicated, we rely on a resolution by 4 of the 7 commissioners. We have stated in our pleadings that we are legitimately representing the Commission. Our colleagues have filed the pleadings on the basis of instructions, I believe, by the CEO, who we say the CEO implements instructions from the Commission. The Commission is a corporate entity. In the absence of consensus, decisions are by majority. But because all these things are actually in the pleadings filed, all I'm pleading is that this honorable court considers those pleadings and gives its directions or ruling so that tomorrow we are able to move on without wasting the time of this honorable court. I thank you.
May it please you, Madam Chief Justice and the honorable members of the court, I would like to set the record straight. IEBC filed an application on the 29th of August 2022 seeking to strike out pleadings that were purported to have been filed by one Issa Mansour. That application is pending. We take the view, 2 reasons if we need to make the argument. First of all, we have a notice of appointment of advocates that predates the entry of Issa Mansour. Best civil practice would have required, if a legitimate change of advocates was to be made, for a notice of change of advocates to be filed. No such action was filed by what I consider a very, very competent firm of advocates. So there, in our view, there must have been collateral purpose. Secondly, it is not the work of the commissioners of IEBC, whether in majority or in minority, to procure any services. That flies totally in the face of the procurement law in this country. As we sit here now, the 4 who purport to have procured have committed a criminal offense and should be treated as such. So in my opinion, what I understood my lady and the court to have said earlier in your ruling was that IEBC was properly represented by its advocates on this table. However, the 4 individual commissioners who are now cited as respondents, but who are supporting the petition, will continue to enjoy the very distinguished services of my senior learned friend, the Honorable Paul Mwita.
Your Ladyship, Madam CJ, there is something that is likely to be lost as my 2 learned friends are fighting. And it is so important, it could compromise really the fairness of the hearing which you have endeavored with so much effort to craft a way forward. It is this: 8 petitions were filed against my client within the 7 days cast in stone in the Constitution. It is the first time in this republic that 8 are filed. In 2013, there were 2. But because of ingenuity of this side of the court, we now can file very many, all intended for the same purpose. That aside, I burnt midnight oil, filed my response within time. Then comes the group of 4 commissioners. On 26th August, they have filed a response to the petition. They are filing this under the pretext they are respondents. They file a response. It is not a response. It is a new petition. There are new claims, new grievances, new grounds for nullification of my client's electoral victory.
Senior counsel.
Yes.
I think a ruling was delivered on their participation as respondents.
If you could just have allowed me 1 minute.
What we are addressing is whether they should be represented by lawyers of IEBC.
I was dealing with the response that they have filed. And that is the point that I think my learned friend, Githu Muigai, was alluding to. Will that response still be on record, or are they limited to the affidavits that they had filed and which have been allowed? Because if the response is also part of the record, a response filed or a new petition filed outside time, I do not know whether I need to respond to it and whether it will be admitted by the court, notwithstanding the strictures in Article 140. I hope my...
We've gotten you, Senior Counsel. What we are dealing with is the application of whether we should allow counsel to represent the 4 commissioners. As you can see, the 2 factions are insisting they are representing IEBC.
And in the mix